On this video, we're going to talk about how to get any business funded $50,000 to $100,000 or more using our 3 paths of funding method. Stay tuned. So my name is Brian Otieno. I'm the founder of Pentic Consulting Group, and over the years we've helped thousands of entrepreneurs just like yourself start, grow, and expand their business. And on this video, I want to talk about a very important topic. I've gotten this question plenty of times, and I've answered this question more than any other question I've ever answered in my life. Is people always ask me, Brian, how can I get money for my business? I get this everywhere I go. Of course, when I'm at work, people always ask me when I go to the barbershop, or when I'm even traveling, when people find out exactly what I do, they always ask me, how can I get funding for my business? I got asked this question so many times that I actually decided to write a book about it. 3 paths of lending. And I wrote this book for a few different reasons. I needed a better way to explain to entrepreneurs and business owners exactly what options are available for them. Because I do believe that the lending industry has made this lending products and funding so complicated with so many different words, and to try to confuse people is what I believe that they've tried to do. So what I try to do is a few different objectives here is to kind of really just simplify the lending market for any business owner and any entrepreneur, anybody that's trying to get into business, so they can really understand where they stand and all the different options that are available for them. And that's kind of the whole objective behind the 3 paths of lending. So as I get to this, the title says it all, 3 paths of lending, the 3 ways in how you can get money for your business. And with my years of experience in the industry, there's no other way other than the 3 paths of lending that I've outlined in this book. So let's go over them real briefly. I'm going to go over the 3 different paths that I talk about in the book. And what I do in the book is I talk about the 3 different paths, and I talk about the few different products that are available for each one of these paths, and how you can qualify for each one of these products, the underwriting guidelines, and how to actually prepare yourself before you submit the application. Literally everything is covered for you in this book. So anyway, real quick, let's go over the paths, and definitely you need to grab a copy of this book. I will be giving out a free copy of my book if you watch this video all the way to the end. So first off, the first path is credit-based funding. This is basically funding where lenders will look at your personal credit. They want to look at your personal credit to see where you stand in order to get your business qualified for business capital. Yes, they do look at your personal credit, and yes, there is such a thing as business credit and personal credit. Assuming you do not have good established business credit, lenders will always look at your personal credit. And sometimes even if you've been in business for a couple of years, they will still want to look at the owner's personal credit. So they will look at your personal credit, and based on your personal credit, you can qualify for business credit lines or business credit cards, which is basically the same thing. These credit lines will go from $50,000 to $100,000 or more. They tend to have usually 0% interest rates for the first 6 months, I should say. Some of these lenders will extend that 0% offer for up to 18 months, even 24 months that I've heard. So that is the option that is available for you in the credit-based path as it pertains to the 3 paths of lending. You qualify for business credit cards. Now, if you do want, maybe if you don't qualify for business credit cards and you want to go ahead and you do qualify for personal credit cards, yes, you can use personal credit to fund your business. I'm opposed to this unless you cannot qualify for business credit cards. But if you can qualify for business credit cards, get business credit cards. But if you cannot qualify for business credit cards, then of course go after the personal credit cards and use that to build your personal credit or to get the business started with goal in mind for you to eventually get business credit cards. So that's path number 1. Path number 2 is revenue-based funding. Now what I'm talking about is products that are basically designed to getting you qualified based on how much income that you're going to be generating. Over here, we're talking about products that the lenders will generally require to look at your tax returns. They sometimes want to look at your 3 months bank statements or 6 months bank statements. Sometimes they want to look at your merchant accounts. These are all products that are focused on income. That's why it falls into the income-based segment or income lending path. We're talking about merchant cash advance, revenue term loans, SBA loans, factoring loans, purchase order financing. Again, these are all products. The lending decision, the underwriting process heavily weighs upon income and how much income is being generated or how much income is going to be potentially generated in the future when we're talking about purchase order financing or factoring loans. So that's path number 2. Path number 3, we're talking about asset-based lending. These are all basically collateralized-based loans. This is where we're talking about equipment funding. If you're looking to fund, an 18-wheeler truck, or if you need to fund your office furniture, if you need to, we're talking about real estate funding here. These are any type of funding structure where there's some type of collateral that is involved. that falls under the asset-based lending. So kind of just summarizing so you can kind of understand the approach as it pertains to the 3 paths of lending. There's only 3 ways on how you can get your business funded, either based on your credit, either based on your income, or either based on your assets. And as you're approaching a lender, when you're seeking financing, you need to look at this and understand this is how the lender is going to be approaching your file. They're going to be looking at which one of these 3 different options do you have for me? Do you have good credit? Do you either have good income or do you have good assets? That's pretty much it. That's where it ends. And why do I share this with you? Why do I think this video is important? Because I've seen so many people waste so much of their time looking for funding, and maybe they didn't have any of the 3. Or maybe they were seeking for some business credit lines and they didn't have good enough credit, but they can qualify for revenue-based loans. Or vice versa. Maybe they could qualify for business credit lines, but their documents wasn't in order, or maybe they didn't have the criteria needed to qualify for revenue-based funding. So now you can kind of read this book and kind of get an idea as to exactly what the lender is going to be looking for and where you belong, where you stand in essence. So you can kind of simplify and help you much better with the lending process. Hopefully you can appreciate this video and kind of understand the approach we've taken here in Pentic Consulting Group by helping thousands of people with the 3 paths of lending approach. And I am giving out free copies of this book. And as I mentioned, I do go much deeper in the book talking about the different products. And by each one of the products, I talk about the minimum criteria, what the lender is going to be looking for, how to qualify, how to communicate with the lenders. And there's actually a bonus chapter on there that I talk about how to manage your credit. So you definitely want to grab this book. Other than that, I do appreciate your time. Of course, do like the video, subscribe to the video, and if you appreciate this topic or if you have some comments and some later topics that you want me to cover, do leave a comment down below. I appreciate you and you have a blessed rest of your day.